Alright, so what if I told you I brought a manga today that will completely change you? What did you think? What am I about to talk about? Is it Vinland Saga? Is it Vagabond? Or some other masterpiece with super deep meaning? Well, the answer is no. I'm not talking about any manga like that. I didn't bring Vinland Saga, nor did I bring our boy Thorfinn. The manga I'm bringing today is the story of a guy named Kurosawa, and this dude sneaks into the girls' restroom to jerk off. Now, before you start thinking this is just another H-manhwa or hentai manga, nope, like I said at the start, this manga will change you. It will change you. It's going to be a hilarious and genuinely beautiful coming-of-age story about how this guy transforms. The manga kicks off with Kurosawa chillin' in his secret base, which happens to be the girls' restroom on the 3rd floor of the school building. And right now, you guessed it, the dude is finishing up and says, "That was a blast." But that's nothing. It gets way crazier from here. He reveals who he was fantasizing about while doing his business today. There's this girl who sits right next to him. She was his target for the day. Our boy says her cute expressions and her childish vibe were stuck in his head. "I just blew my whole load of man juice." What the hell, bro? Anyway, his daily ritual is done. Ever since he started his 2nd year, he's been doing this every single day. The routine. After school lets out, he kicks back in the library and waits for everyone to bounce. He usually has to kill an hour there until the coast is completely clear. He sneaks over to the 3rd floor of a different building to do his dirty work. Nobody goes up there, making it super easy for him. And yeah, he cleans up thoroughly afterward. The dude leaves zero evidence behind. He finishes cleaning up, quickly opens the stall door, steps out, and boom, a girl sees him. Now, this was not supposed to happen. Our boy is internally panicking. Holy shit, this wasn't supposed to happen. The girl is totally speechless. Like, a dude walking out of the girl's restroom? What is she even supposed to say? She's clearly in shock, trying to process the situation. Kurosawa notes she's a tiny, short girl, kind of like a squirrel. But at a glance, he figures out she's just like me, a girl who sucks at expressing herself, aka the quiet kid. To explain why the hell he was in there, Kurosawa smoothly lies, "The teacher told me to put some cleaning supplies away in here, so I'm just doing that. Don't get the wrong idea, okay?" Internally, he's bragging about how he had a script prepared for a worst-case scenario like this. Look at the big brain on this guy. The girl doesn't say a word. She just bows slightly and walks into the restroom. Our guy thinks, "She definitely looks suspicious of me. Still can't believe I got busted like that. Though, I don't think she'll cause any problems in the future." With that, he heads home. Kurosawa says he thinks there won't be any issues, but man, that girl is one hell of a character. Fast forward to a normal day in class. The teacher announces that spring break is right around the corner, giving the usual spiel about doing homework and staying out of trouble. Meanwhile, the boys in the class are already hyping up their break, planning karaoke trips and hangouts. Kurosawa, however, couldn't care less about this bullshit. He's perfectly content in his own little world. As soon as the boring lecture ends, one of the guys yells, "All right, who's down for karaoke? Raise your hands." A bunch of kids throw their hands up. Kurosawa is mentally rolling his eyes, thinking, what a bunch of losers. Yeah, Kurosawa has a bit of a god complex, kind of like Light Yagami. Just then, a guy approaches him, calling him Lord Kurosawa, and asks if he wants to join them. Enter Kaji Nagaoka, basically the leader of the class Otakus. So Kaji, aka Broccoli Head, is begging Kurosawa to tag along. Before Kurosawa even replies, he's inwardly roasting the guy, thinking, I bet birds nest in that hair. People tease Kaji a lot for his afro, but he's an extrovert, so he doesn't really let it get to him. Broccoli Head keeps badgering him, but Kurosawa turns him down, faking that he's not feeling well. In his head, though, he's like, me? Hang out with a bunch of otaku losers like you? Yeah, right. Kaji just shrugs it off and says, no worries, next time then. Kurosawa replies, yeah, totally, next time, while thinking, there is absolutely no next time. School's out, which means it's time for his daily ritual. He's walking to that specific restroom when he sees a cleaning lady leaving the area. He thinks, damn, my timing is impeccable. If I came a second earlier, she would have caught me. Today's target? A specific girl he saw during the last sports festival. She dropped the baton during the relay race and started crying. That emotional moment got perfectly captured in his mind. He pictures a whole lot of wild stuff with her. This dude is a total menace. Ritual complete. He cleans everything up, but right before he steps out, he hears someone approaching. So our boy stays put and blocks the stall. Turns out it's a group of 3 girls. They realize someone is actually in the stall because it's locked. They start banging on the door, yelling, "Who's in there? Come out! Answer me!" If he talks, he's screwed. If he doesn't talk, he's still kinda screwed. He mentally vows, no matter what, do not respond. Finally, one of the girls says, "Just leave it alone. Come with me." Staying silent paid off, but he still needs to escape. Listening to them chatter, he suddenly hears a click-click sound. A lighter. A second later, he sees smoke. He connects the dots. These girls came here to smoke. They usually hit up the downstairs restroom, but because the cleaning lady was down there, they had to migrate up here. While puffing away, the girls start gossiping. "Hope Kitahara isn't in our class next year. It won't be fun without her." Kurosawa listens in and immediately figures out they're 100% bullying this Kitahara chick. His main priority is getting out. Since the girls are distracted, he swiftly unlocks the door and sneaks out. Right before he exits, one of the smoking girls calls out to him, "Don't snitch, okay?" Kurosawa stays dead silent and books it. He thinks, "Bro, yesterday I ran into a girl here. Today it was 3 girls. If this keeps up, I might have to stop my daily ritual." Nah, just kidding. The thrill just makes it better. He's got a 2-week spring break ahead of him. Once that's over, his whole routine will start up again. Little does he know, things are about to change drastically. Spring break is over, and the new semester begins. We catch up with Kurosawa, who is visibly pumped because his daily bathroom routine is back in business. Those 2 weeks at home were absolute torture because he couldn't fulfill his ritual without being at school. The manga panels literally say, "That's why I'm fully loaded right now." He checks the new class roster and instantly realizes he's stuck in the same class as Broccoli Head. He is not thrilled. He asks Broccoli Head where the rest of their old crew ended up, and upon hearing they moved classes, Kurosawa secretly celebrates that he won't have to deal with a flock of otakus. But on to the important stuff, checking out the new babes in his class. He scans the list and does a complete mental background check. He gets so caught up in the hype of having fresh targets that he accidentally blurts out loud, "Man, class is gonna be fun. I'm gonna jerk off so much." Broccoli Head turns to him like, "Your Majesty, did you say something?" Kurosawa quickly backpedals, realizing he really needs to keep his mouth shut. Our boy steps into his new classroom and recognizes a few familiar faces, including the voices of the smoking squad from the restroom. He still hasn't figured out who's going to sit next to him, but he declares that whoever it is will be today's target. He checks the name tag on the desk, Kitahara. Wait, I've heard that name before, he thinks, remembering the smoking girl's trash-talking her. He's mentally urging her, "Come on, Kitahara, show yourself." Then, the girl walks in. It's the exact same quiet girl who caught him walking out of the girls' restroom. He looks at her and immediately clicks. Oh shit, it's her. After that, they do roll call. Some extroverted kid goes up talking about his hobbies and literally starts singing right there to prove he wants to be a pop star. The teacher cuts him off. Kurosawa complains internally, "I hate this tell us your dreams nonsense. What a bunch of idiots spouting whatever sounds good." Finally, it's our boy's turn. Because of a rock-paper-scissors match between the first and last roll numbers, the order was reversed. With seat number 8, he had to wait forever. He steps up to the podium with all 33 kids staring right at him. He starts his intro. "My name is Kurosawa. I'm 14. As for my interests, I like listening to music and reading." Meanwhile, in his head, he's adding, "Oh, and jerking off. Obviously, I can't say that out loud, but yeah, I love doing that. Especially in the girls' restroom." Out loud, he just finishes with, "And I don't really like anything else. As for my dreams, I haven't decided yet." He wraps up the whole thing in a solid 10 seconds, noting internally that while he was speaking, only one person was paying uncomfortably close attention. Broccoli Head. The introduction phase is over, and now it's Kitahara's turn. As she walks up to give her intro, our guy, Kurosawa, thinks to himself, "She's going to be my first target." Kitahara gets to the podium and starts screaming in a way that completely contradicts her usual vibe. She yells, "I am Choi Hong Man." Kurosawa and the rest of the class are absolutely shell-shocked. They're all thinking, what just happened to this tiny little squirrel of a girl? She continues, claiming that spring is here and she's going to become a crazy workaholic. Nobody has a clue why she's acting so bizarrely, except for two specific girls. These are the same girls who regularly bully Kitahara. They definitely forced her to go up there and make a fool of herself. Seeing them laughing confirms it for Kurosawa. He thinks to himself, there's no way an introvert pulls a stunt like this on their own. But when you're being bullied, you have to do what you're told. Fast forward a few months, and Kurosawa walks into the classroom. The social hierarchy has completely settled. The cliques are firmly established. Otakus hang with otakus, the studious kids stick together, and the jerks mingle with the jerks. Because of this, the kids who get bullied are completely isolated, like Kitahara. Right now, she's minding her own business, eating her lunch, but these girls show up to harass her, making fun of her mom's cooking and spewing garbage. Kurosawa is also sitting alone, but he isn't bullied. He notes that most students eat together since friend groups have formed, but Kitahara's total isolation makes her an easy target. The bullies proceed to dump coffee right into Kitahara's rice. Kurosawa watches and thinks, man, this is messed up. I sometimes wonder if they ever get tired of bullying her. What did she even do to them? But whatever, it's none of my business. I have no connection to her. We haven't even talked. I only used her once as FAP material and that's it. What kind of guy am I? His attention then shifts to another girl, Naito, one of the class beauties. He starts intensely staring at her, studying her every micro-movement, how she eats her rice, how she drinks her water. He's trying to mentally capture everything, the way she holds her chopsticks, how she puts the bottle to her lips, her skirt, her legs. He needs to memorize it all for later. After all of this, Kurosawa's daily ritual begins. We get a slightly deeper look into it this time. He's imagining Naito while doing his business. He has to force the fantasy a little bit, but by the time he finishes, he is overwhelmingly satisfied. With his ritual done, he cleans up and heads out toward home. Suddenly, he hears a loud thud coming from a nearby tree. He looks over and sees Kitahara on the ground. He walks over and asks if she's okay. She insists she's fine, but looking at her disheveled state, her dirty clothes, and her scraped hands and legs, Kurosawa instantly pieces it together. The bullies threw her uniform up into the tree, and she fell trying to climb up and get it. He tries to ask her about it, but she brushes him off and starts walking away. Knowing exactly what's going on, he calls out, "You're being bullied by Sugawara and her friends, aren't you? Why?" Kitahara snaps back, "It has nothing to do with you. Mind your own business," and walks away. Kurosawa agrees internally. She's right. I have zero involvement in this, but seeing this messed up stuff happen, it's starting to irritate me. Even though Kitahara is the one suffering, a quiet anger is starting to build up inside Kurosawa, and soon enough, he actually decides to take action. First, we cut to PE class. The boys and girls are separated. The girls are mostly playing basketball, which involves a lot of running and jumping. The boys are being absolute creeps, watching the girls bounce. One guy is practically drooling over Naito. Another notes that Sugawara looks good too, though someone points out she actually skipped PE class today. Meanwhile, Broccoli Head, a classmate, brags to Kurosawa about breaking his personal long jump record, calling Kurosawa "Your Majesty." Kurosawa just dryly replies, "Good for you." When everyone heads back to the classroom, they find a broken window. Broccoli Head immediately goes into full detective mode, urging everyone to check their stuff to see if anything was stolen. Nobody is missing anything, except for one guy, an overweight otaku nicknamed Pizza. His PE uniform has been stolen. Everyone is baffled as to why anyone would steal his uniform. Unable to find it, poor Pizza has to spend the entire school day wearing his sweaty gym clothes. During the lunch break, the real drama unfolds. Kitahara walks up to Pizza and says she found his stolen uniform stuffed inside her bag. Kurosawa immediately realizes something is fishy. Pizza is confused and asks why it was in her bag. Kitahara stammers that she doesn't know. She just opened her bag and there it was. Right on cue, Sugawara and her bully squad swoop in. Sugawara loudly accuses Kitahara of being the thief. Before Kitahara can even defend herself, The girls are screaming and making a scene. Because she's an introvert, Kitahara's denials are barely a whisper. The bullies aggressively pressure her until she finally caves and falsely confesses to stealing it. Sugawara triumphantly declares, "See? We caught the thief." The thing is, everyone in the class, including Kurosawa, knows this is a lie. Everyone knows Sugawara skipped PE and planted the uniform to frame Kitahara. Because the whole class knows it's a sham, nobody really cares at first. But then Sugawara asks, "Why did you do it? Do you have a crush on pizza?" Suddenly, the entire class erupts into laughter. The kids who previously didn't care are now fully invested in the drama. Even Naito chimes in, asking if it's true. Everyone starts chanting, "Confess! Confess!" Kurosawa is boiling with rage. He watches Naito, the girl he usually admires from afar, joining in on the mockery. Under immense pressure, Kitahara is forced to say, "I like you, Pizza." The class ironically cheers, mocking the new couple. They tell Pizza he hit the jackpot. Kitahara is so overwhelmed that she sinks to the floor and starts crying. Sugawara ruthlessly asks if they are tears of joy. Kurosawa is absolutely furious. He admits he doesn't know why he suddenly cares so much, but in that moment, he decides he's going to punish Sugawara and her friend himself. Kurosawa's revenge plan begins with his daily ritual. Today's fantasy involves a kidnapped Sugawara begging for mercy, telling him not to touch her. Kurosawa's internal monologue responds, "I won't touch you, only my third leg will touch you, from the inside." He finishes his ritual, declaring that his plan is now in motion. The next day in class, everyone is buzzing. Broccoli Head greets Kurosawa, mentioning that Kurosawa just arrived for the 4th period because he was at the hospital all morning. The big news in class? Sugawara and her friend's uniforms have been stolen. The culprit? Our boy, Kurosawa. He notes to himself that everything is going exactly according to plan. Sugawara is freaking out, trying to blame everyone, even the Otaku gang. Broccoli Head defends them. When Sugawara tries to accuse Kurosawa, Broccoli Head defends him too, pointing out that Kurosawa literally just got to school after being at the hospital all morning. Then, another girl runs into the room and announces that the missing uniforms have been found in the girls' restroom. Sugawara goes to look and starts screaming, "Who did this?" The boys are confused, but Kurosawa knows exactly what happened. He took his millions of kids and completely defiled Sugawara and her friends' uniforms. Everyone is shocked. Kurosawa internally gloats, "You bully a weak girl, but look how weak you two are right now." Here is how Kurosawa pulled it off. He told his homeroom teacher he would be late due to a hospital visit. However, he actually arrived at school incredibly early. During the 3rd period, while the class was out, he sneaked in, stole the clothes, went to the girls' restroom, did the deed, and then casually strolled into class as if he had just arrived from the hospital. Ironclad alibi. The teacher comes in, but the girls are way too traumatized to focus on class. Kurosawa and Kitahara make eye contact. He thinks, "She saw how utterly destroyed those bullies felt." Unfortunately, the lesson doesn't stick. By the next day, the bullies are back to harassing Kitahara. They initially suspected her for the uniform incident, but since the mess was obviously made by a guy, and Kitahara doesn't talk to any boys, she was cleared of suspicion. Soon, the class is told they are going on a school trip next week and need to form groups of 5. The popular kids and extroverts immediately start forming massive supergroups. Kurosawa resigns himself to being grouped with the leftovers, assuming Kitahara will be in the same boat. Surprisingly, Broccoli Head, who actually has a decent group of otaku friends, steps out of his established circle and pulls both Kurosawa and Kitahara into his group. That's just how it goes for introverts. You just sit there until an extrovert adopts you. Pizza joins them to round out the group. To add salt to the wound, Broccoli Head cheerfully announces that he and Kurosawa will be sharing a hotel room. After school, it's time for Kurosawa's daily ritual. Today's target is Naito. He heads to a quiet restroom to do what he does, but before he can leave, a girl walks in. Kurosawa is highly confident. He thinks, "I'm fine. I'll just hide until she leaves." But then, a voice calls out from the other side of the stall. It's you in there, isn't it, Kurosawa? Panic mode activated. He recognizes the voice immediately. It's Kitahara. She says, I know you're in there, and I need a favor. Kurosawa stays dead silent, trying to figure out what to do. Kitahara threatens to keep talking loudly if he doesn't respond. Cornered, Kurosawa finally speaks. Kitahara drops her demand. What you did to Sugawara, I want you to do the exact same thing to Naito. I know you're the one who did it. You're the only one who could. That's why I'm asking for your help. Kurosawa obviously plays dumb, denying everything and bringing up his hospital alibi. Kitahara drops a massive bombshell. I don't have hard proof, but I know it was you. I know you come to this bathroom every single day to relieve yourself. Kurosawa is completely floored. How does she know that? Kitahara explains that on the very first day they interacted, Kurosawa told her a teacher asked him to put away some cleaning supplies in that room. The catch? The teacher had actually asked Kitahara to do that chore. He had accidentally exposed his lie to her on day 1. She tells him she's watched him sneak in and out of that building constantly and put the pieces together. She corners him completely. Look, I won't tell anyone your dirty little secret. In exchange, you do this for me. Paint her clothes with your colors. Kurosawa can't really say no, but he asks why she's targeting Naito, since Naito never directly bullied her. Kitahara coldly reveals that while Naito didn't participate, she watched and laughed, something Kurosawa himself had noticed. Kitahara tells him she'll be back at the same time tomorrow for his answer and walks out. Left alone, Kurosawa thinks she came in like a hurricane and left like one, leaving behind one hell of a request. Now it's the next day, and Kurosawa is sitting in class, still thinking about what went down. During lunch, he spots Kitahara taking notes for those same girls. It makes him feel bad to watch, but it's not like he can refuse her. How is he even going to defend himself? But yeah, he admits one thing. Kitahara is definitely no baby squirrel. She's an absolute menace. After school, our boy heads to the library to study before hitting his daily ritual. But thanks to the rain, the library is absolutely packed. Kids have basically turned the place into a cafeteria. It's loud, girls are gossiping, couples are being overly affectionate, and to top it off, there's no AC. Kurosawa is already fighting for his life in there when a girl approaches him. It's Takigawa. She asks, "What are you reading, Kurosawa? Mind if I sit here?" Kurosawa is like, notes? Yeah, sit. Takigawa explains she doesn't really know many people, which is why she crashed at his table. They're in the same class after all. Kurosawa gives us a little rundown on her. She hits different. Her looks are super elegant and mature. He ends up staring at her a bit too hard, and she notices. What's wrong? Is something on my face? To avoid making it totally awkward, Kurosawa deflects and asks what she's reading. Turns out, he's already read the novel she has. He almost drops a massive spoiler on her, but she shuts him down just in time. Kurosawa starts wondering why she even sat next to him. They literally never talk. Then Takigawa asks if he comes here every day. They have a little back and forth. The rain stops, the kids clear out, and Takigawa leaves. Usually, Kurosawa would head straight to his daily ritual, but something feels weird. After talking to Takigawa, he's just not in the mood. But hey, what must be done will be done. So he handles his business. Suddenly, the gremlin herself, Kitahara, shows up looking for an answer. Kurosawa sighs. Look, it's not like I can refuse you, so what's the plan? Kitahara lays it out. Last time, Sugawa didn't report the incident, but this new girl did. Cut to the classroom. The teacher is standing in front of everyone saying, "Look, whoever did this, please just confess." Yeah, right. Like someone is going to pull off something that diabolical and go, "Yes, sir, it was me. I am the Phantom Menace." Everyone sits there in dead silence. The students start complaining. "Sir, nobody is confessing. Let us go to our club activities." The teacher gives up, passes out a piece of paper, and tells them to write down why they think the culprit is doing this. Kurosawa literally writes, "I just can't understand people who do things like this. Bro, this guy has to be a top 5 manipulator of all time. Bro is out here spinning narratives harder than a political commentator trying to explain away a lost election. Just chill, man." Later, Kurosawa and Kitahara meet up in the washroom. We find out Kitahara's original plan was absolute garbage, and Kurosawa actually fixed it so they wouldn't get caught. Since he did the job, Kitahara says she'll leave him alone, for now. But if I need revenge on another girl, I'll be back. Obviously, Kurosawa hates this, but what can he do? Nothing, except go unleash another fat load. The next day, it rains again, and Kurosawa meets Takigawa in the library. Their conversations are getting deeper. She asks for a book recommendation, and he puts her onto a sci-fi novel that she ends up loving. She even thanks him for it, and asks what genre he's into. Kurosawa says, "I'm not too picky, but I like it when it has hot girls." Okay, that's me saying that, not Kurosawa. They vibe a lot, and Takigawa jokingly says, "You read so much, you should just become a novelist." Kurosawa brushes it off, but Takigawa pushes. Why not? Imagine finding out your old school friend became a famous author. The rain stops, and right before she leaves, she says, "It's a promise, okay?" Kurosawa is left thinking, man, I just don't understand her. That day, Kurosawa skips his daily ritual. He tells himself it's because he's running late, but honestly, it's Takigawa. Talking to her is actually changing him. Keep that novelist dream in mind, by the way. Next up, the school field trip. They're on a bus/train to the Nara region. Broccoli Head has a camera and is snapping pics non-stop. Kurosawa even hits a pose for a photo. Unquestionably the goat Lelouch Vith Britannia pose, by the way. The day is pretty normal. Lunch, the deer park, until Takigawa joins their group. She's in a different group, but says wandering around with the same people is boring. The second she joins, she turns into an investigator. She asks Pizza-kun why they call him Pizza, asks Broccoli Head why they call him Broccoli, and asks Kitahara why she's so quiet. Kurosawa observes and realizes Takigawa is different. She treats everyone completely equally. Later, they squeeze through that famous pillar hole that supposedly gives you good luck. Definitely not built for big guys. Rip. Kurosawa gets a great angle of Takigawa squeezing through and thinks, got the mental screenshot. She's definitely going to be my meal tonight. Of course, buddy. Of course. The next day, they hit Osaka and an underground aquarium. Kurosawa finds it all boring and complains that he hasn't been able to do his daily ritual. But honestly, he's smiling. He's happy without the ritual. Socializing is slowly fixing him. But then, Kitahara approaches him on the Ferris wheel. Kurosawa thinks, great, the dog is back. You know what time it is. Kitahara announces there are new targets. Target 1, Pizza-kun. Kurosawa is confused because the dude minds his own business. Kitahara says he stares at her and asked her to sit with him, so she just wants to scare him off. They pretend to be a couple to make him back off. Target 2, Yoshiro Mako. She bullied Kitahara last year. But why now? Kitahara reveals she saw Yoshiro in a happy, healthy relationship, and to her, that is unforgivable. Kurosawa is like, bro, you're just jealous. Why should I use my sauce to put out your fire? But Kitahara flexes her blackmail card. Since she has no actual plan, Kurosawa has to figure it out. He spots the target and her boyfriend, who is kinda buff. Kurosawa waits for Broccoli Head to fall asleep, performs his highly necessary daily ritual, and preps his weapon. He shows Kitahara a bottle. She says it smells awful. He reveals it's stuffed with tissues soaked in his white sauce. She's completely disgusted, but Kurosawa says, if you think it's gross, imagine how she's gonna feel. Now, he just needs the perfect moment to slip it into her bag. Kurosawa trails the couple, holding hands with Kitahara the whole time as a cover, which makes Pizza-kun back off. Takigawa sees them holding hands, and Kurosawa immediately drops Kitahara's hand like it's on fire. Kitahara realizes Kurosawa is catching feelings for Takigawa, though he denies it. Later, they go on a water ride and Takigawa gets soaked. Kurosawa mentally thanks whoever engineered the ride. We should all appreciate the little things, guys. Finally, Kurosawa gets the perfect window to plant the bottle. He sneaks up close, but right before he drops it in, he overhears the couple talking. They are genuinely so happy together. They have a completely healthy, loving relationship. Kurosawa freezes and backs off. I can't do it, he tells Kitahara later. She asks why. He says he doesn't know, but in his internal monologue, he admits he saw himself and Takigawa in that couple. He couldn't bring himself to ruin a happy moment because he doesn't want his own happy moments with Takigawa ruined. Back at school, it's swimming class. Our guy is checking out the girls, thanking God for making his day. Broccoli Head shows the trip photos, and there's a hilarious one of Kurosawa and Broccoli Head drinking from the same cup with different straws. Everyone laughs. Homie love hits different. Kurosawa and Takigawa start spending a lot of time together, reading in the library, chatting. He's a changed man. He's not going to do his gross stuff anymore. Just kidding. He's in the bathroom with a bucket of imagination, and this time he's imagining Takigawa in the swimming pool. Bro is operating on an astral plane of imagination we can't even comprehend. The next day, Broccoli Head invites him to karaoke. Kurosawa initially declines, saying he has personal matters. Broccoli Head is persistent, just like me with Anya's mom from Spy Family. Kurosawa finally caves. Broccoli Head even invites Kitahara. So now we have a group of introverted otakus and a horny light yagami going to karaoke. Kurosawa steps out of the room for a breather and bumps into Takigawa. They end up ditching to go see a movie. Yep, it's a movie date. As she walks ahead to grab her bag, Mr. Light Yagami gets bricked up immediately. What is my PP thinking? His internal monologues are wild. The movie is clearly a Death Note parody. The main character is named Yagami. After the movie, they grab food, and Takigawa talks about her dream of working in the fashion industry. She brings up the novelist thing again. She's literally molding him into an author. They say their goodbyes. On the walk home, Kurosawa is thinking about her smile, her dreams, and his pee-pee becomes so uncontrollable he has to run into a public restroom. He does the deed while thinking of her, but when he finishes and pictures her innocent smile, his body completely rejects it. He throws up. My body is rejecting Takigawa as a meal, he realizes. He goes home, lies in bed, and accepts the truth. He's in love with her. Summer break hits. Kurosawa is wandering around in the blistering heat every single day, just hoping to bump into Takigawa, but he doesn't know where she lives. He goes home and plays Street Fighter. Hadouken! Guys, if a dude is thinking about you while gaming, just say yes to him. School starts again. Kurosawa is looking for her. Broccoli Head walks up and says, "If you're looking for Takigawa, she's not coming today." Kurosawa is suspicious. "How do you know?" Broccoli Head reveals they went to the same cram school over the summer. Kurosawa is instantly jealous. Finally, Takigawa comes to school. They meet in the library. Our boy is so happy. She mentions he got a tan. "Yeah, from looking for you all summer, bro." She opens up to him about her past, how she used to be super quiet but decided to reinvent herself in middle school. Then she drops a bombshell. She starts talking about the boy that everyone loves and the girl that I love. Kurosawa's heart is racing. She's looking deeply into his eyes, telling him she's never shared this with a boy before. Kurosawa thinks there's a real connection. They say their goodbyes. Kurosawa is so hyped, he runs to the bathroom to do his daily ritual, but not to Takigawa. He gives way too much detail about his spray here. I'm skipping that. Right at his peak moment of happiness, Kitahara walks in. She has a new target. "Who is it?" Kurosawa asks. "Takigawa." Kurosawa freezes. He demands to know what Takigawa ever did to her. Kitahara refuses to say, and Kurosawa snaps. He tells her she's insane, he's not doing it, and she needs to focus on her studies. Kitahara crashes out. She screams that she wants to ruin Takigawa so badly, no man will ever look at her again. Kurosawa feels a sharp pain, first in his PP, then in his chest. He flat out refuses. Kitahara realizes he likes Takigawa. "If you don't do this," Kitahara warns, "you're going to regret it very soon." Kurosawa yells at her to leave. He swears he will never hurt Takigawa, no matter what. That night, Kurosawa is so desperate he wanders the streets just to see Takigawa. He conveniently bumps into her outside her cram school. She's glowing. She says something amazing happened, but she'll tell him tomorrow. Right after, Kitahara walks out of the same cram school. She looks at Kurosawa and says, "It's already too late. Tomorrow morning, you will regret it." The next morning, Kurosawa walks into class. Broccoli Head is the center of attention. Everyone is hyping him up. Kurosawa asks what's going on. The guys tell him Broccoli Head got a girl. "Oh, cool. Who is it?" Takigawa walks in. "Hey, don't bother my boyfriend." Broccoli Head officially introduces Takigawa as his girlfriend. Bro, Kurosawa's soul leaves his body. His heart is shattered into a million pieces. Now it makes sense why Kitahara warned him. She knew they were getting together, and, plot twist, Kitahara's heart is broken too. She had a crush on Broccoli Head. That's why she wanted to target Takigawa.
Both Kurosawa and Kitahara are crying in the washrooms. Kurosawa's mind is breaking. He overhears them calling each other cute nicknames. He hears girls asking Takigawa why she likes him, and she says, "He's really gentle." Kurosawa is in pure agony. Sports festival prep begins. Broccolihead asks Kurosawa to be his warm-up partner. Kurosawa tries to politely decline, but Broccolihead grabs his hand and insists. Kurosawa loses all control. He rips his hand away and screams, "I don't want to exercise with you!" Broccolihead's face drops. Honestly, he didn't deserve that. He's genuinely the nicest guy in the series. Kurosawa isolates himself. He stops talking to both of them. Then comes the final straw. Kurosawa catches them kissing. The little piece of his heart that was left is instantly incinerated. He goes completely numb. He says, "The Takigawa I knew is nowhere to be found." He goes straight to the bathroom and uses her as his material. This time, he doesn't throw up because in his mind, the innocent Takigawa is dead. Kitahara approaches him again. "Target is Takigawa, right? I'm on it," Kurosawa says. He has lost his absolute mind. During the sports festival, while everyone is outside, Kurosawa sneaks into the empty classroom. He hallucinates Takigawa sitting on her desk, stripping for him, saying, "I like you, Kurosawa." He cries, realizing he can only have her in his twisted imagination. He unleashes his mark all over her books. When class resumes, Takigawa opens her bag, sees it, and immediately throws up in the middle of the classroom. Everyone panics, and Kurosawa? He watches her cry and feels nothing. We are officially way past the goofy, edgy comedy, guys. This manga got dark fast.
Kurosawa goes on a rampage for Kitahara. He targets a girl's flute, absolutely diabolical. He targets another girl's painting. He just doesn't care about the consequences anymore. Broccolihead tries to befriend him again in PE, but Kurosawa shuts him down, coldly. Seriously, justice for Broccolihead. Kurosawa sneaks into the classroom to ruin another girl's painting, but he glances over at Takigawa's locker and sees what she drew. It's a drawing of their field trip group. Pizza Fat, Broccolihead, Takigawa holding hands, Kitahara, and Kurosawa reading a book. Underneath it, she wrote, "This was my best trip ever. I want to go again." Kurosawa starts shaking. Despite being targeted and traumatized, Takigawa still treasures those memories. He realizes the magnitude of the monster he's become. He breaks down crying, whispering, "I'm so sorry, Takigawa." He walks out. Kitahara is thrilled, asking if he ruined the painting. "No," he says. Kitahara gets furious. "What about our agreement?" "That agreement expires tomorrow," Kurosawa replies. The next morning, Kurosawa walks to the front of the classroom. He steps up to the podium. 66 students, including Takigawa, Broccolihead, and Kitahara, are watching him. He starts by saying he has been hiding something. The class clown makes a joke, but Kurosawa stays dead serious. He looks around. He wants to take away their smiles. He wants to take responsibility for hurting the girl he loved. He bows deeply. "It was all me. I did everything. I am truly sorry." The aftermath is brutal. Nobody wants to look at him. He's treated like a ghost. Takigawa completely distances herself. Sugawa brings her seniors to jump Kurosawa and beat the living hell out of him. He doesn't fight back. He doesn't even go to the nurse. He accepts every single punch as his punishment. His desk is vandalized with awful slurs. Someone even wrote his mom's name. Broccolihead won't even look him in the eye. The teacher tells Kurosawa that parents are demanding apologies, so he has to tell Kurosawa's parents. Kurosawa accepts it all. "I will endure it. I will not live with regrets anymore." Kitahara confronts him, demanding to know why he did it. "Are you enjoying being harassed?" This leads to Kurosawa's absolute peak monologue. "I finally understand your pain, Kitahara. I never knew I was this weak. I built these 4 walls around myself because I was terrified of being hated, but I wanted a connection. That's why I chose this path, for me and for you. But when I saw Takigawa's painting, I decided I have to change. Watch me, Kitahara. I will endure everything until they can look at me as a normal student again." For the first time, Kurosawa steps out of his delusions and faces reality. This character development is top 1% of all time. Peak cinema. Things don't magically fix themselves.
He is still bullied, but he pushes through. During PE, he's standing alone when he hears his name. It's Broccoli Head. His true homie came back to do warm-ups with him, treating him like nothing ever happened. Kurosawa thanks him for never truly abandoning him. Again, if you have a broccoli head in your life, cherish them. Kitahara, however, refuses to change. She tells Kurosawa they are different. She wants revenge. She wants those girls dead. She can't endure the pain like he can. Kurosawa leaves her be, knowing he has a support system now, and she has no one. Then comes the real closure. Kurosawa is in the library. It's snowing. Takigawa sits across from him. We get a flashback to her POV. She was initially terrified, but seeing him endure the beatings and the bullying made her realize he was genuinely trying to change, just like she did in middle school. Kurosawa apologizes properly. Takigawa forgives him. From here, Kurosawa grinds. He joins a cram school to get into a good university because he is actually going to become a novelist. He also gets closer to Sugawa, enemies to lovers anyone, who starts helping him study. Graduation day arrives. Kitahara doesn't show up. We find out she got bullied so hard in art class she stabbed herself in the hand with a carving blade and stopped coming to school. Years later, it's time for the class reunion. Kurosawa goes to Kitahara's house to get her. Her mom is in tears, revealing Kitahara has tried to end her life multiple times. Kurosawa goes to her room. He bangs on the door, practically begging her to come out, telling her that he remembers her and she matters. He leaves, thinking he failed. But then, she opens the door. She gets dressed. As they walk to the reunion, Kurosawa hits her with a banger line. "We are cut from the same cloth." He tells her he's going to ask out a girl soon, and even though he's scared, he won't live with regrets. He walks Kitahara to the doors of the reunion, tells her she just has to push it open, and she finally steps back into the light, smiling.
The conclusion. In the final chapter, Kurosawa and Sugawa properly confess their feelings. He asks her on a date, and she says yes. The epilogue, which is totally canon, reveals Kurosawa proposes to Sugawa at age 24. They have another reunion at 26. Broccoli Head went bald. Ripe. In the final scene, Sugawa finds an old magazine with the girl Kurosawa used to crush on. She gets jealous, asking, "Am I not good enough?" Kurosawa just laughs, says it's from the past, and throws it in the trash. And with that, this masterpiece ends. What started as an edgy, goofy comedy turned into a deeply psychological drama about heartbreak, crashing out, taking accountability, and truly changing yourself for the better. The girl who broke him was the catalyst for him fixing himself. He endured it all, and he won. Truly, peak fiction.